All right, now that we have a product on a funnel, the fastest way to be able to get some things happening is to learn a little bit about the different automations that are available. So you're going to come over here on the left side and click on automations. And it's highly recommended that we use workflows. Workflows are the newer version of triggers and campaigns, and that is the direction that we're going for as a whole. Now, there's some preset recipes that are already ready for you, and they kind of have a structure already in place. We're going to start this one from scratch. So we're just going to click on from scratch, and we're going to create a new workflow. Starting it from scratch is going to enable us to teach you a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes. Before we get into actually how it functions, we're going to take a look at some of the settings here. The settings allow us to set up a time window, whether things happen at a specific time, or it can happen at any time. With a specific time, you can say like, hey, this can only happen through Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. If it's outside that window, it'll hold it and wait. And then when it enters the window, it'll actually begin to do that again. You can set a default sender address from your campaigns, and including adding the tags. You can say that you want the sender address to always be from your user's first name, and then the user email. User is the employee logged into the system, and the contact is the actual person who's filled out the form. Contact management, we have the option to allow multiple. So if the same person fills out a form more than once, that's going to allow them to get sent through the workflow again. If they've already been through the workflow and this is not on, it just won't trigger. But it's something like a product purchase, we probably want to turn that on. Stop on response. If you're sending out messages hoping to get a response from somebody and they respond, you don't want to keep sending them messages. So when they respond, you'd automatically shut that off, and that would stop this workflow from continuing to trigger. It would pull them out. Conversation management, you can auto mark things as read when they respond, so they're not showing up in the contact inbox. And then as well as this is a deprecated area, which means that we're not going to be using it moving forward, but you can select a time or a date that a specific event happens. There's ways to schedule things based on event. Under history, you can see how all the contacts that have been through here in the last 30 days, today, yesterday, this week, last week, this month, last month, and then you can filter it down to looking for a specific action that was taken, and as well as status, whether it's been executed, failed, finished, all of those types of things. So this is really good for troubleshooting when things go wrong and you're not exactly sure what's happening. This status screen is going to show you by date and event all of the current statuses that are happening with each contact. If you find the contact, which you can filter for up here, it'll give you the options here to see where they're at when the next time that something happens, what the last result was, and then be able to take some actions such as removing them from the workflow, pushing them to the next step. Those will show up here. Now that we have that out of the way, here's the fun part. Automations allow you to be able to do things based on something else that's previously happened. We're going to call those the triggers. These are the workflow triggers. You can add multiple, but there's a bunch of triggers. If you just click on it, this is all of the things that you can set up something to happen on. Appointment status, whether they booked an appointment, a birthday reminder, whether the contact changed or was created. You can set contact do not disturb, contact tags, custom date reminders, add notes were added, notes were changed, tasks were added, task reminders happen. Things specifically for the contact, the customer replied to something, the customer submitted a form, which an order form submission happened. A survey was submitted, a trigger link was clicked. Twilio had a validation error. You can do them on call statuses. If they called you, you called them. Email events, Facebook lead forms were submitted when you tie them into the Facebook ads. They completed a category in a membership product, or they signed up. You offer was granted access or removed access, or you got a specific product added or removed. They completed the product, or they even logged in. When you're looking at opportunity changes, you can do it when the pipeline status changes. So when your opportunity moves from status to status, or they become stale, or things for invoicing. If you're integrated with Shopify, if they abandoned their checkout, they placed an order, they filled the order, video tracking happens with the onboard video hosting. In this case, we're looking for a product purchase, so we want the order form submission because they actually created an order. And now we're going to get to add some additional filters to this so we can be a little bit more specific about an order form being submitted, right? In this case, we're going to say we want a submission type, and we're looking for we're looking for a sale, right? The sale happens. This is what we want. And then we want it to be specifically in the funnel, and we name this one test. So in the test funnel. So a sale is submitted inside the test funnel. We save that trigger. Now, whenever that happens, that contact will be pushed into this workflow to do any of the actions that we choose. But we could also say we wanted that to be a sale, or it could be in this funnel as well, right? So we could say that the submission was a sale. So now if it was in a sale of the test funnel or the AAOD funnel, either one of those would trigger this workflow. And you could, I don't know that there's even actually a limit to the number you could have. But you can also see here, we can drill down a little bit further, and every time you get different options, right? We can say a specific page. We got it on the test page of the test funnel. If we had another page for a different product, let's say we could have that page and only have that specific option submitted. In this case, we're covering any submission type that's a sale in the entire funnel of test. We're going to trigger this. So add to first action. We're going to click this little plus guy, and that's going to bring up all the actions that we can do. We're going to go through those real quick. Right, we're going to be able to send an email to the contact, send an SMS to the contact, call them, leave a voicemail. If they came in through Facebook and then information present, we can get the messenger contact and select different templates and things of that nature. Let's say we want to send them an email probably to confirm the purchase, right? And we've already set these up, and we're going to say, congratulations, right? And then we can either select a template if you have a template already set up to go. And if you don't, you can just type your information for here, and you can insert dynamic fields. So like the contact information, it'll change every time. So we say, hey, this is their name. Thank you for your purchase. Say you'll get an update when it ships. Very generic, not really good enough for an email, but you get the idea, right? And then we're going to save that. If we open it back up again, you can see that there is a statistics tab, and it's going to show you about the delivery, open rate, clicks, replies, bounces, everything that you can track. As long as tracking is enabled, you're going to see. Very similar action. You can do that with send SMS, right? You can select templates. Obviously, there's no subject here, but you can fill in that information the same way. And there's a lot of values that you can actually insert. If they booked an appointment, you can insert stuff about their appointment. You can add, the name of a calendar if they've come through the calendar. You can add all kinds of custom values if you took specific pieces of information. Attribution information. You might be sending this to somebody else within your organization. There's a lot of options here. So in this case, we'll have made the purchase, sent them an email, and let's say that we wanted to give them access to a membership offer, right? 7 techniques to minimize your Facebook ad spend. That's what they bought. So we're going to save that action. That'll automatically give the contact access to that in the system. The system will automatically send in their information to how to log into it, what their username and password is, and all of that good stuff without having to actually do anything, where all of that stuff will reflect in the client profile. We make another video about creating membership offers. But then a lot of times we like to do things like adding contact tags, right? We probably want to segment this. Let's say they bought the ad offer, so we want to give them the ad tag so we can quickly and easily sift and filter through our different contacts. From there, you have the draft and publish, as well as obviously the big green save button. Nothing's been saved. We hit that, it's going to update. Now it's saved. We won't lose any of our work. And we can actually test the workflow you select a contact. I always select myself, and then you hit run test, and it'll go through and it'll perform all the actions, just as if you triggered the form. This is also a great way to be able to do it from Facebook lead forms. You would just select your Facebook lead form submission, add the filter, say which form, 500 setup form, and then you can see that if there's additional things that are available, or if you want to do things based on the way that they've answered a custom field, right? Contains, if you want to say, it contains a phrase or over a certain value, that kind of thing. That's how you would get it to trigger, and then it would go down and do these. You may need multiple workflows for multiple things, but I think it's important to note that you also have some logic options that happen all the way at the bottom. You have the if-else options here, so you can do things based on a little bit of logic, right? You can say you want to look at contact details, and then you look at the fields, right? Let's say they have a specific tag on them. This is not the first time that they've been through. Let's say they included the ads tag before we added this on. You save the action. I'll actually delete this just so it's in scenario actually makes a little more sense. This would be what happened. This would be it didn't happen. So the condition is tag includes ads. Does the tag include ads? Yep. Maybe we want to get a notification, right? You want to send an internal notification in the app. Give it a name. I usually like to use the location and a few things. Maybe you want to contact name purchased again. Maybe you wanted to, they purchased one thing and now they purchased something else that had that tag and you want to know more. Then you can choose if it's going to redirect to the contact, the conversation, or the opportunity when the notification is clicked on. In this case, probably the contact, and then you can select a particular user, and then you can send it to the different user that's in the system, or you can send it to the user that's assigned to the contact in the contact profile, or you can just send it to everybody, which gets a little bit annoying. We're just going to send it to everybody because we like to be annoying, right? So then you get that notification. If it didn't, then we could continue on, and then maybe if they hadn't purchased with the ad tag before, maybe now we want to add that tag. So we're going to tag ads. Boom. Save the action. Now you're ready to go, right? Always do the test of your workflow. So then once they're tested, push them to publish and hit save. And now whenever an order is submitted through that form, this sequence is what's going to happen. We will send them an email. We'll grant them the membership offer that'll automatically get them what they want. We're going to send them to checking to see whether or not the tag already has the ads tag on it. If it does, we're going to send us a notification that they purchased again, so we know, and maybe we want to manually follow up. And of course we could automate that follow up too by continuing on down this branch, and we can say, hey, send them a message. I see you're still working on learning Facebook ads. Anything. Right? Boom. So now we've automatically done that contact, and we'll know to watch out for it. If it didn't include that, then we're going to add the tag ads, and then from there, that is it. Now, obviously, if we say people get membership offers all the time, right? They bought the offer. But if we want to know if they log in, you go create a new workflow, and then we're going to do that based on making sure that they logged in, right? What did they log into? They logged in to the system, and we get some more information about that. Maybe we have a workflow that keeps track of how often they're logging in. The possibilities of this are limitless. Unless we're going through a specific scenario, you really need to spend some time and just kind of drag each of these out and see what it does, right? We want to know what the remove contact tag does. I mean, it seems obvious, but how does that work? Oh, we want to make sure that ads are removed, right? Click it here. And then you have the option of leaving comments so that you know a little bit more about these pieces, right? You can see, oh, hey, there's a comment here. oh, that's why I left it, right? Or we can choose, we're going to copy it. Maybe we want to do this again. We want to copy this action, and then you'll get the little copy here icon. We want to put it there. The move does the same thing, only instead of copying it, it'll shift it over. You can move all actions from here. So let's say that we decided we needed another branch in here. We could actually grab from here, say that we wanted to move all actions from here. So it's going to grab all of these guys, and then we'll say we want to move it over to the didn't happen tag. Boom. So right now everything's shifted over. So you just want to definitely play with the options that are available and do some testing. Make sure you understand what you're doing. You can also add some additional steps to wait. I think that's an important one for you guys to know about. Say we want it to wait a minute before it does something, an hour, a day. We can set an advanced window so it happens only within a specific time. We can do it off the event, whether something is overdue. So for an example, overdue would be waiting till the invoice before the invoice due date to remind them the invoice is coming, or after, hey, you haven't paid, this needs to get paid, come pay your stuff, that kind of thing. The other really important one for logic is going to be your go-to function, because when you hit go-to, let's say when we completed this, we wanted to go to do something else. So you'd then set up your go-to where we want to go. Well, we just want to repeat checking this all the time. We'd create a loop. Probably not a great scenario, but if we wanted to do something and then continue on, that's a great way to pull things into additional checks, so you're not making 10,000 of the same thing. You make an action and you just kind of tie it in together. You delete an action by selecting delete and then confirming whether you want it or everything after it. Let's see, webhook. This is good for some integrations that actually are happening outside of high level or lead connector. If say you need to send something to Zapier or another system, you send the URL of your hook. If you have custom data with the key values, custom header information with the key and the value, you can put it here for a post. You can also do a get webhook with the same type of information and do the same thing. So the webhook is pretty robust. And then math operations. Math operations are exactly what it sounds like. We want to take the current date. We're going to add 2 days, and then we're going to update this. We wouldn't want to update the date of birth, but update the date of birth field, right? So that would take today's date, add 2 days, multiply that by the date of birth. Might be a reason to do that. I don't know. But you can do that with any of the fields in the system, right? And the start date, budget, setup fee, how many years they were in business, are just some custom fields we already have. But any of those custom fields have the option of doing those things. But I think that gives you a really good overview of workflows, how they work and operate. And I will see you guys